Yeah. Analytics off the chain, all the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game.
I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake and Kyle coming at you today because you know what? It's a short week. It's a holiday week. Christmas is right around the corner. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, by the way. But we
Thank
figure,
you.
we need
was that to me?
That was not to you. That was to everybody else. I was not saying it to you. I'll do that later if I have to. But hey, this is what we're doing. We're switching it up this week, Kyle, because we got to get all the content out as quick as we can because it's Christmas Eve coming up on Friday, Christmas on Saturday. People aren't going to be watching a whole lot. They want their information early, so we're going to do a combined ranking show. We have my top 20 quarterbacks. We're touching tips here. My top 40 running backs, your top 40 wide receivers, and your top 20 tight ends. And we're kind of just going to go through them together. I'll discuss my rankings. You'll discuss yours. If somebody wants to ask some questions, we will do it that way. But we'll try to knock it out here so everybody has this information before the weekend.
I love it. And
love it?
I would also like to thank the NFL for giving us 2 Tuesday night games this week to even make things
make it
worse.
even worse. Yeah, it was already a short week, and then they make it even shorter for us. We're going to record until well into the night, but that's okay. We're going to get out here as quick as we can, and we're not going to waste a whole lot of time, Kyle. We're going to get right into the rankings. We're going to start here with my top 20 quarterbacks for Week 16. Now, once again, I want to preface something. These things are like changing by the hour because it just seems like news is non-stop. I was literally, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus here for a second. I was literally in the middle of recording the running back start sit video, and I got a notification on my phone that Michael Carter had been added to the COVID-19 list. And I was like, well, piss on it. Here we go. So right in the middle of my show, I mentioned Michael Carter. Of course, that the Jets have 2 Michael Carters on their team, but it's just one of those things just to screw you up. It's almost impossible to keep up with here. By the time you put something out, things have changed. So I want to make sure I preface that before we talk about these rankings because they could be changing. Oh, dude. Yeah, right.
I'm allergic to all the bullshit.
Oh, perfect. I'm glad I got to throw that out there. All right, let's talk about some top 20 quarterbacks. This is what happens when me and Kyle do things together. Here we go. I'm going to put them up here on the screen. 1 through 20. Got Justin Herbert at number 1. Now, obviously, some things can change. We know about Austin Eckler. He's officially on the COVID-19 list. Does he play or not? We do not know. We're treating our rankings today as if all these players are playing, and we'll make adjustments as things actually happen, too. Matty Stafford continues to go out there and throw the ball with ease. We know Odell Beckham's in the mix. Van Jefferson, another deep target, and Cooper Kupp is basically unstoppable at this point. Josh Allen. What do you think about Josh Allen? Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but in this matchup going up against New England, we saw them in like a snow-nado a couple weeks ago. Do you think that Josh Allen kind of returns to form and goes out there and really, launches the ball deep down the field and maybe kind of rack up some passing stats here this week?
Maybe a little bit. I think the ceiling's a little bit higher this week, but I'm not anticipating much higher.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. I wanted to put him higher, but I mean, there's just some limitations. When you get around playoff time, Bill Belichick and the Patriots always show up and they're always ready to go. Patty Mahomes at 4, he's starting to kind of get his swagger back a little bit. Aaron Rodgers is playing another level. Apparently, this guy only needs 9 toes to be an NFL MVP because he broke a toe and he got better. So it is what it is. Kyler Murray, kind of been a little bit of a disappointment ever since losing DeAndre Hopkins. Zach Ertz is banged up. The running back, James Conner, he's been banged up as well. Hopefully Kyler Murray can kind of get those legs going a little bit and give you that safer floor. Dropped him a few spots to 6. Jalen Hurts continues to call his own number on the goal line. That's why that touchdown upside is boosted up to number 7. Tom Brady all the way down to number 8. This is what's going to happen when you lose Chris Godwin. You have a banged up Mike Evans, but at least it sounds like there's a chance he gets Antonio Brown back. Also lost playoff Leonard Fournette. Maybe this is the week we say yes to Rojo. Kyle, what do you think?
I mean, to me, it's an upgrade.
Rojo's an upgrade to Fournette. Wow. This is why you don't do running back rankings. Okay, next up we have Joe Burrow at 9. This is a must-win game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They want sole possession of first place. Joe Burrow and the guys going to come out on fire this week. 10 is Dak Prescott. All these weapons around him, and he just can't seem to get on the same page with any of them at the same time. Dropped him all the way down to 10. And then the 11 through 20 got Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. Does Lamar Jackson play this week? He's already not practicing at the time of this recording. Maybe we see him, maybe we don't. Kirk Cousins, does he get back Adam Thielen this week? Because that would be a huge increase to that offense. Not banking on it, but there is a slight possibility. Jimmy G. With Deebo Samuel and George Kittle in the mix, Jimmy G is a safe, reliable, high-end quarterback too. Taysom Hill. I dropped Taysom Hill a few spots because his passing game is just such a liability right now, and the turnovers just absolutely kill you. And depending on your league scoring, you could be hurting. Heck, I have him in the Scott Fish Bowl. The guy has scored like 0.4 points for me last week because there's so many penalties for interceptions and fumbles, so that hurts. Justin Fields, he's starting to turn it on here second half of the season, followed by Tua. Hopefully have Jalen Waddle back this week. Matt Ryan. Don't love Matt Ryan, but when you look at all the other matchups, I think he has an opportunity to go out there and give you that safer floor, followed by Carson Wentz and then Big Ben Roethlisberger to round out the top 20 here. Kyle, any glaring issues that you see with my quarterback rankings? Is there anything you want to roast me on before I move on to running backs?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that it was like, what's going to happen is Patty Mahomes. I mean, who's he going to have? Who isn't he going to have this week? It just could end up being a mess for him. If he doesn't have Kelsey and Hill, I think the ceiling's just going to creep down, especially with how they played this year.
Yeah, 100%. And I will go ahead and say that if Patrick Mahomes loses Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, he will fall outside my top 10 more than likely. He'll probably be somewhere in that 11-12 range. I mean, we still know he has weapons, but maybe not the ceiling that we're hoping for. All right. On to running backs, Kyle. Here we go, 1 through 20. Going to fly through these because there's a lot of names to cover here. Woo! Jonathan Taylor. Is it a big surprise that Jonathan Taylor? I will rank Jonathan Taylor number 1 probably from now until week 1 of next year. At minimum, because this guy is an absolute beast. Put some big-time stats in the running back video. Make sure you check that out. Right now, Austin Eckler is at number 2. Now, obviously, he's on the COVID IR list. We do not know for sure what's going to happen with him until he's ruled out. Great matchup for him this week. Got him at 2, followed by Cook, Chubb, Kamara. Really don't need to sell you on those guys. We know they're going to get the volume. James Robinson, thank God Urban Meyer is gone. We have James Robinson lined up against the New York Jets, who allow over 30 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. Love that. Cordero Patterson kind of told everybody to suck it in week 15 and didn't do nothing for the fantasy playoffs. Hopefully he can bounce back here this week. With a matchup going up against the Detroit Lions, it's the Detroit Lions. Kyle can vouch for this firsthand. Cordero Patterson should be able to succeed against the Detroit Lions.
Exactly, because he doesn't play for Arizona.
Listen, you can enjoy your 2 wins. We have 5 times the amount of wins that you do.
I would rather enjoy that first round pick or that first overall pick.
Yeah, whatever the Lions are doing is completely stupid because now I'm seeing that DeAndre Swift is coming back and stuff. I don't have him in my rankings because he's not officially playing yet, but I mean, that would be stupid if they brought back DeAndre Swift. That's just a sidebar. 8, 9, and 10, we got David Montgomery, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones. Najee was a disappointment for a lot of people last week. Really got held in check. 11, we got Josh Jacobs. This is just solely based off of volume, and he's really getting involved in the passing game, getting around 5 targets a game or so. So that's definitely boosted his ceiling, and this is where I put Rojo. At number 12, I have Ronald Jones. Think about it, though. If Evans is limited or out, we know we don't have Godwin. They got Antonio Brown, Gronk, and they're going to have to use somebody else. It could be Ronald Jones. If he can just hold on to the damn ball and catch it and not drop it, could be a big week for Ronald Jones. Followed him up with Zeke Elliott. Tony Pollard looks a lot healthier than I had expected him to be with a torn plantar fascia, which just sounds painful, but he looked pretty good this past week. CEH, I bumped him up a few spots because of the limitations, potentially to Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelsey. He could see a lot more volume, followed by Saquon Barkley, Antonio Gibson, Javonte Williams. Love the matchup here for Javonte Williams this week, going up against Las Vegas, who absolutely sucks against the run. Jeff Wilson Jr., now that we know Elijah Mitchell is ruled out, it's another week of Jeff Wilson Jr. Miles Sanders, finally. Nick Sirianni has figured it out. Give the ball to Miles Sanders and good things happen. He's had over 100 total yards in back-to-back games. Got him at 19. James Conner starting to split that workload now with Chase Edmonds. Was going to drop that ceiling down. We enjoyed it while it lasted, but now he's down at number 20. Throw up 21 through 40 here. We got Joe Mixon at 21. I don't know about the limitations to Joe Mixon. Now, they're saying he's going to play, but he sprained his ankle last week. We could see more Samaje Perine. Like I said earlier, though, this is a must-win game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They need Joe Mixon out there. So hopefully he plays. He could bump up. Yeah, rub it ever so gently, Kyle. 20 is going to be Melvin Gordon. 23, this is where I have put Michael Carter back into the rankings because now that I know it's the other Michael Carter on the COVID list, why not put the right guy back in the rankings? Sony Michel
now, until the end of time, I want you to refer to him as the other Michael Carter.
The other Michael Carter. I mean, how do you differentiate them? I mean, I know one is Michael Carter the second, but we need nicknames, Kyle. I'm going to have to nickname him in the offseason so I don't mess this up again.
Yep.
Let's see, 24, Sony Michel, because Sean McVay hates your fantasy team and doesn't want to use Darrell Henderson. So apparently Sony Michel is like a thing now here, end of the season, followed by Donta Foreman, lead guy in Tennessee. Damn it, Devin Singletary at 26. All of a sudden, Damn it, Devin. All of a sudden, he's getting volume in Buffalo, and maybe it's because of the limitations to Josh Allen on the ground. Like, we know he was in a walking boot last week there for like a day, maybe like 6 hours. Who knows how long it was, but Devin Singletary doing great. 27 is where I put the tax man, the grocery bagger, whatever you want to call him, Craig Reynolds. I mean, we made fun of this dude on the live stream. Everybody, even the whole chat was making fun of it. It was not just us. We were saying, you know, hey, when you think of the name Craig Reynolds, what does it bring to mind? A lot of people were like, the dude that just bagged my groceries. And I'm like, the guy that does my taxes every year. It's just crazy. But I put him at 27 because now they're talking about Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift being back. So until we find out more information, big question mark there. Tony Pollard at 28, Ramondre Stevenson. We don't know about Damian Harris as of yet, whether he'll be out there or not. A.J. Dillon at number 30. He's somebody who's going to get you right around 15 touches, but if he doesn't score, he's going to hurt you. 31 is Devontae Freeman because all of a sudden they want to use Latavius Murray a little bit more in Baltimore, followed by Chase Edmonds. Darrell Williams, I bumped up a few spots because of the potential missing, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Rashad Penny, I am not excited about whatsoever. I mean, dude split touches with DJ Dallas. All that hype for all these years, and all he does is disappoint. Darrell Henderson here at 35, followed by Duke Johnson. Is Duke Johnson the guy in Miami now? Whew. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Like, I would love to put Myles Gaskin inside my top 25 to 30 at least, but I can't trust that he's not going to get the ball and they don't just give it to Duke Johnson. I mean, we love Duke Johnson, but it just seems like he's always in a bad situation.
As a Duke Johnson and Myles Gaskin truther, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
It feels so good.
It hurts, but feels good. Come because
on,
you can
baby, make it hurt so good.
Wow. I mean, Myles Gaskin averaged like 5.5 yards per carry last week and barely got the ball. I mean, I just don't understand like what their thought process is. So piss on it. I'll put Duke Johnson at 36, 37, Mike Davis, Justin Jackson at 38. Just a name to throw in here at the bottom as a reminder. If anything were to happen to Austin Eckler and he doesn't play, that's the next man up. Same thing for Samaje Perine. If anything is limited there with Joe Mixon, he's the guy. And then 40, Jordan Howard, because the dude's just going to go out there and get right around 15 touches. And we know he is a goal line hawk for those touchdowns. So got him at number 40.
You ready to talk ball catchers?
I'm just ready not to talk for a second because I just went through 60 names in a pretty quick amount of time.
Boom, ball catchers, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 is going to be Cooper Kupp going up against Minnesota. Allows the most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, expecting a lot of the Coop. I also didn't realize he's like 20 catches away or something like that, or 12 catches from breaking Calvin Johnson's or 200 yards or something like that.
That's crazy. Huge
Holy
season
cow.
for Cooper Kupp.
What a huge season. Devontae Adams coming at number 2. I mean, he's the guy there. Cleveland obviously has had issues all over the place this year. They play super inconsistent, especially this past week. Justin Jefferson going up against the LA Rams. I mean, you're probably gonna see some tough corners here, some tough matchups, but the dude's just absolutely balling right now. We can't move away from him. We got to look at that upside being right there every single week. Deebo Samuel going up against Tennessee, another team that has just absolutely shot the bed this year against some wide receivers. And I just love all over the place, backfield, end arounds, out in the slot, out wide. They do everything with Deebo. They get him in really good matchups, and that's why he succeeds.
Is it
Tyreek
shot
Hill
the bed or shat the bed?
Shot the bed. I did with a little bit of an accent there.
Okay. You wanted to make it fancy. I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Tyreek Hill coming at number 5. Don't know if he's going to play yet or not this week. So we're going to put him right here. This is where the upside says to roll him out at. Keenan Allen getting all the volume in LAC right now. Is there no Austin Eckler? Just more for Keenan Allen. We'll have to wait and see though, but it's Houston. So we know that there's definitely going to be at least a really, really nice floor there. Deontay Johnson going up against Kansas City. I really feel like this is going to be like a shootout or just one of the worst games of the season if everyone ends up missing with COVID and they just can't score any. I feel like it could go either way. Like a 50-45 game. Whoa. Or like a 10-7 game, something like that. Crazy. CeeDee Lamb going up against Washington. Like the matchup there. I like the fact that they're able to get him back into the slot with everybody healthy. But like you said with Dak, it doesn't feel right with the offense right now. It feels really off kilter, just not like they're all vibing together. We got to get these guys vibing. Tyler Lockett at number 9 going up against Chicago. Now, again, he's been on COVID. Apparently the effects were really, really bad to start. He was really sick, apparently working his way back. I don't know how close he is, but he's been so good prior to being sick. Going up against Chicago, a team that lost basically their entire secondary this past week. How many of those guys end up even coming back? T. Higgins at number 10. Right now, I've got him over Jamar Chase just because there's more volume going to T. Higgins right now. He just feels like, hey, Joe Burrow feels it with him right now, so we're going to keep rolling with it. So I like that Joe Burrow, even though he's got that connection with Chase, hasn't felt the need to force feed him when the matchups aren't there.
Yep.
Hunter Renfrow at number 11 going up against Denver. Hey, Denver last week, yeah, they shut down Cincinnati wide receivers, except for the guy in the slot, Mr. Tyler Boyd, who scored a touchdown. Expect Hunter Renfrow to have that same type of success this week. Antonio Brown at number 12. I'd like to go a little bit higher with him, but Carolina has been tough. The fourth fewest fantasy points allowed this season to opposing wide receivers. Obviously, Gronk will take something away, but if Mike Evans doesn't play, then Antonio Brown is going to be the main focus there. Plus, how healthy is he really?
Right.
How's the ankle and the foot and everything feeling? So just being a little cautious with it. Stephon Diggs, New England, tough matchup. Don't expect a lot of volume, but the dude just scores at will. So I'm going to continue to put him up here around the top 12. Jamar Chase, this is where he's going to go in against Baltimore. Obviously, Baltimore has had some issues at cornerback and in their secondary. Still like him, but again, he's just been facing, a little bit of the tougher matchups. Higgins is getting a little bit more looks now. Tyler Boyd's been getting more looks. And hopefully, Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon doesn't play this week, then I think maybe we give even Jamar Chase a little bit of a bump up to potentially number 12, but I'm still going to stay cautious with it just because of the recent performances. Jalen Waddle at number 15, still on the COVID list. Hopefully he gets back this week. If he does, lots of volume. New Orleans is a great opportunity for that, especially at New Orleans in a game where, if New Orleans plays well and gets out in front of Miami and they have to throw more, then that's where Jalen Waddle is going to get even more ceiling there. Brandon Cooks, another guy. Another guy on the COVID list, just added before this show. They are saying he still has a chance to come back. I don't know if that means he's vaccinated or not, but whatever it may be, Brandon Cooks coming in at number 16. If he plays this week, back-to-back games with double-digit targets and 100 yards. A.J. Brown at number 17. Jake, do you feel A.J. Brown this week?
I mean, I would like to. I would really like to. I mean, it's just so hard to figure. We know that Julio Jones is back at practice. Also, this offense, ever since Derrick Henry went out, just really has they have no identity. I mean, they just don't know what's going on. Everything seems forced. Nothing is for sure every single week. I would love to say that A.J. Brown is going to be a top 10 guy again this week, but I can't say that I have that warm fuzzy on the inside, but we know the potential is going to be there.
That's the same thing for me. That's why I got him a little bit lower at 17. I mean, if he gets back this week, I think that's still up in the air, but are they going to push him a little back with Julio, Julio banged up, Tennessee still, trying to make a run to the playoffs. Can they get that taken care of? So for me, it just feels like he might be rushed a little bit back. And that's why I've got him lower this week. Christian Kirk, I felt like you said it several times last week. Jake was like, Kyle loves himself some Christian Kirk this week. And he ended up playing very, very well. I expect that to continue. But again, with AJ Green there, you've got Zach Ertz, Chase Edmonds. Do we get him worked back into the passing game a little bit? So even though I like him, I'm still just going to keep that ceiling a little bit lower than some of these other guys. Adam Thielen apparently was decently close to getting back this week, so we got to keep an eye on that. If he is, he's definitely going to be a start for me, even though it could end up being a tough matchup where he sees a little bit of a lower ceiling. Mike Williams going up against Houston, kind of like I said with Keenan Allen, like the floor this week, it's Houston. But, what if LAC gets out really early? What if Allen gets all the looks to begin with? If there's no Austin Eckler, that helps Mike Williams, but it's a game where he might not have a whole lot towards the end. DK Metcalf at number 21. I mean, I don't know what.
Has he just completely
Russ, what's going on?
Dude, I don't understand. It doesn't look like he's at full speed a lot of the time. He's not getting force-fed volume. It's like they don't even care that he's out there or not. It's kind of like Seattle's like, whatever. And that doesn't make any sense to me. That dude is an athletic freak. Yeah.
And even if when he gets 7 targets a game, only 4 of them are catchable. So I don't know if Russ is still just off right now or what it is, but holy cow.
Yep.
That's just been a disappointing end to the season for DK. Terry McLaurin coming in at number 2. He's back out of the concussion protocol. The only thing with Terry McLaurin this week, he gets Travion Diggs. Yes, Travion Diggs leads the league in interceptions. He also leads the league in yards allowed. I mean, the dude has been either super hot or super cold, but nobody seems to talk about how the dude just gives up just huge plays from time to time. Terry McLaurin could take advantage of that. If he hits a couple of those, he's good. If he doesn't, he's going to have a bad week. 23, Michael Pittman Jr. going up against Arizona, expecting a few targets. I mean, unfortunately, last week, Arizona giving up a lot of targets and a lot of success against Jared Goff and, Reynolds, Josh Reynolds. I almost said Craig Reynolds being on my mind. Josh Reynolds there.
Just a bunch of Reynolds in Detroit.
and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, Michael Pittman for me, I think the volume will be there. It's just where does the ceiling end up coming in? That's why I've got him lower this week. Marquise Brown against Cincinnati. I think he sees a Wouzier this week. And if Huntley has to play again, I mean, he still saw 10 targets. He caught 6 of them only for like 40 something yards. So the upside just wasn't there. Their game plan last week was really short, high percentage completions. It worked well. They were able to move the ball for the most part. Huntley performed pretty well. I think we see the same thing if it's Huntley again this week.
I can't stop looking at your hands and the reflection of your computer.
I know.
After the first
of the year, when I this is all going to be redone, and everybody out there that talks about seeing my hands, you won't anymore. I also made the comment the other day that you could see my calves in it a little bit too.
No way. They aren't that big.
Amon-Ra St. Brown setting a rookie record for season receptions by a Detroit wide receiver. Hard to believe when they've actually had some pretty good wide receivers come through there that he's the guy to set it, but getting a lot of volume right now. Fingers crossed Jared Goff is able to get back. Amari Cooper at number 26. You got to just bring the ceiling lower for some of these Dallas guys right now, just because of the fact they've got so many weapons. Pollard, Zeke, Cooper, Lamb, Gallup, Schultz. I mean, but again, why aren't they doing better on offense? It's Mike McCarthy. Russell Gage. Now that we've gotten rid of Urban Meyer, hopefully Matt Nagy's next. I'm going to turn my attention to McCarthy to get rid of. Russell Gage coming in at number 27. I would like to go higher with him. The dude's been a top 10 tight end or a top 10 wide receiver for a few weeks now, and he's looked really, really good. And for those of you out there that paid attention in my waiver wire videos where I talked about, hey, Russell Gage isn't doing a whole lot, but opportunity is going to be there. If you listened and just grabbed him and held on to him, you got yourself a decent starter right now. But it's Atlanta, and Matt Ryan just is all over the place this year. And Detroit, for some reason or another, has decided to show up recently. I don't know why. So I'm just being a little bit safe with the Russell Gage. I don't want you to start Russell Gage over some other guys who I think could have a little bit higher ceiling than him. DJ Moore at number 28. I would like to go DJ Moore higher, but I don't know what the world they're doing over there. Cam Newton's going to start, but Sam Darnold is still going to have.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They're saying that Cam's going to have a huge role. Please. Yeah, they're saying Cam's going to have this huge role, but then they're saying that Sam Darnold's also going to have. I mean, come on, just figure it out. Just stop being too cute.
Yeah, that's why I've got to be careful with DJ Moore. Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, unfortunately, snapped a streak there, three straight games with a touchdown, looking, really integrated into that offense, unlike it was a little bit of a down performance this past week, but I think 29 is a pretty appropriate ranking. Brandon Ayuk, kind of the same thing. He had been just absolutely rolling. All of a sudden gets the net last week and only gets 2 targets. We got to get him going again. Devontae Parker at 31. I think this is good if we have Jalen Waddle. If we don't, Parker goes higher for me, scored a touchdown, and has looked pretty good since coming back off the IR. Jarvis Landry at 32, another COVID guy that we don't know about yet at this point. Hopefully he ends up making it back. Van Jefferson, we know that Matthew Stafford may find him once a game for like 30, 40, 50-yard touchdown, and that could end up being the make or break of the day. Didn't get it last week, so he didn't hit that upside. Gabe Davis at number 34. If this was a different matchup other than New England, I'd be like, yeah, Gabe Davis, let's go, baby. Probably even up into my top 20. He's found kind of a role there finally after we talked about him this offseason. The dude they just said, no, we're going to give Emmanuel Sanders 9,500 targets to start the season. We're going to forget Gabe Davis exists. Well, finally getting him rolling again with Emmanuel Sanders being hurt. Don't know if he'll make it back this week. Cole Beasley on COVID. Who knows if he'll play this week or not. Gabe Davis, for me, he was the only guy that scored a touchdown a couple of weeks ago against New England. We'll see if they can game plan better for him this week. Darnell Mooney, the connection with Justin Fields is there. Those guys are just feeling it. They absolutely know what's going on with each other at every single point in time of the game. So close, inches away from a big-time touchdown last week. AJ Green at number 36. Again, I like Arizona to bounce back this week. Just, who is Kyler Murray going to be going to? Do they try to establish the run a little bit more this week and maybe take a little pressure off Kyler Murray? That's kind of my key here with those guys. Chase Claypool at number 37, going up against Kansas City. Like I said, I feel like this is going to be a game where they're going to score a ton of points or no points at all. 38, Kadarius Toney. It sounds like Kadarius Toney is going to be back this week, which is good. He fills that Sterling Shepard role. He gets tons of targets in that role. And with that role, it's the only thing I like about the Giants offense because they utilize it to a point where, hey, lots of yards after the catch. Mike Evans at number 39. If he plays, I don't know how banged up he's going to be. That hammy, that leg not feeling really good right now. If he doesn't play, obviously we just pull him out of there. But if he plays, be very cautious with him. Josh Reynolds, another big time touchdown last week. All of a sudden, him and Detroit, him and Josh Reynolds, him and Jared Goff have been feeling really good together from that time in LA. Kind of want him to resign Josh Reynolds. I don't know. We'll see what happens this offseason, but
Well, does that mean that Goff is still the quarterback again?
oh yeah.
You guys are stuck with him for a while, aren't you?
On to tight ends, George Kittle coming in at number 1. Why? Because he's a beast, setting a record for the most receiving yards over a 3-game span by a tight end. The dude's absolutely balling right now. Travis Kelce on the COVID list. He is vaccinated, though, so he has a better chance to return for this Sunday's matchup than what I originally anticipated. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. If he plays, he's number 2. If he doesn't, obviously, take him out. All done. Mark Andrews. This is why you don't sit the man. I kept getting questions on the live show last week. Do we trust Huntley to throw to Mark Andrews? I don't know if I can start Mark Andrews. I don't know if I can do this. And I told you all, hey, listen, if it's my team, the old tummy down here is feeling like we play Mark Andrews no matter what. Ooh, the gut was right because big time performance from him. Rob Gronkowski. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's the only available person to catch a ball.
It could be
this week.
Him and Rojo.
Him and Rojo. I mean, if he is, do they just put 5 defenders on him at a time? Dawson Knox at number 5, New England allowing just over 7 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. Don't love the matchup, but he would have had a better performance a couple of weeks ago against New England if it wasn't for a couple of bad drops as well. Speaking of bad drops, Dallas Goedert could have had a bigger game last night, but he had one awful drop there in the first quarter. Ended up bouncing back from it. Didn't play too bad. Him and Jalen Hurts. I feel like him and Jalen Hurts, they're on a little bit of a connection right now, which is good to see because Jalen Hurts doesn't have a connection with anybody. So Zach Ertz at number 7 going up against Indianapolis. Liking this, Indianapolis gives up a lot of fantasy points to opposing tight ends, 3rd most in the league. I expect Zach Ertz to really feel himself this week.
Whoa.
The end zone.
Not on camera, Kyle.
Maybe finding the end zone.
What?
Kyle Pitts at number 8 going up against Detroit. I mean, it's like they get down to the goal line and Matt Ryan forgets Kyle Pitts exists.
Yep.
So can we remember that you spent a 4th round pick on him, Matt Ryan, please?
A 4th rounder?
Or a 4th overall pick? I mean, 4th rounder, that would make sense. 4th overall pick? Come on. Get Kyle Pitts the ball in the end zone. Dalton Schultz at number 9. Would like to go higher with him. That ceiling just has come down, though, because of all the weapons finally being healthy. Hunter Henry at number 10, coming on off a 2-touchdown performance. Really, really looking good. We got to get him rolling against Buffalo. I think he's kind of the key. If they can get him open over the middle, get some nice passes to him, make them kind of collapse over the middle a little bit more, maybe that opens up something on the outside for the wide receivers to get loose a little bit against Buffalo. Cole Kmet at number 11, going up against Seattle. I mean, same thing with Mooney, him and Fields. They have a connection right now. Led the team in targets last week. Really like that rapport that they have. And finally, after 2 years of begging for it, they're using the tight end more often. Mike Gesicki at number 12. I have him as a sit this week. I don't love the matchup at all. But if you own him and you don't have better options, his upside, if Jalen Waddle is out, could be in this area. If Jalen Waddle plays, this dude drops even further for me. I'm being very cautious with Mike Gesicki this week. Tyler Conklin at number 13. Kirk Cousins, what the H? I mean, this dude just looked like crap last week. Yeah, he had a couple of touchdowns, but let's face it, what did he throw? 80? He had 84 passing yards or something ridiculous like that against a secondary that, quite honestly, is probably from the Y League that's going on right now down the street.
Maybe.
That's where they got all those guys from because everyone's on IR or COVID. So Kirk, we need you to step up. The one thing the Rams have done this year is they've given up some big plays to tight ends. If we can get Tyler Conklin 6-7 targets and he can find like a 20 or 30 yard reception with one of those, maybe score a touchdown, weeks made right there. Jared Cook at number 14. I actually like this one. I don't think Darnold Parham's going to play. He hasn't officially been ruled out, but after that just nasty injury last week, I can't imagine him making it back. Have him sit it out. That's more opportunities for Cook to be out there getting some more snaps. If Eckler's out, that's more opportunities for him. Well, I actually like Jared Cook as a really nice streaming option this week, especially if Eckler doesn't play. Noah Fant at number 15. Albert Arioke is at number 19. These guys are just splitting snaps, targets, routes, everything right now. I mean, they're sharing more than Jamal Adams and his brother. So Evan Ingram at this point, an oldie right there. Was it Jamal Adams? I can't even remember. No. Who was it?
Jamal Adams is a current player still out there. It was
I can't remember his name.
I'm going to find it. Hang on, because I know exactly where to look.
Such a good joke ruined because I got the player wrong. I got the team right.
Poor Jamal Adams out there. Dude just like doing
Jamal's
nothing.
going to be like, what the F are these guys?
And all of a sudden, Kyle out there talking about, it was
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. That's what
That
it was.
was
Yep.
Earl
I
Thomas.
just got it. Yep.
Oh man, Noah Fant. Anyway, I mean, he's getting a little bit more volume right now, a little bit bigger plays. So because of that, I'm still going to have him at 15, but I've got him as a sit. Evan Ingram, I've got as a start this week, and he was a part of my Manscaped must-watch matchup. Why? Philadelphia allows the most points to opposing tight ends. So for me, I'm like, hey, you've got Kadarius Toney, who may or may not play, may or may not be 100%. Kenny Galladay hasn't done anything. Darius Slayton hasn't done anything. You've got a backup quarterback in there still. Obviously, you have no more Sterling Shepard. So Evan Ingram finding the end zone this week, think it could happen. David Njoku at number 17 kind of depends on, again, Austin Hooper and Jarvis Landry, what happens with them. Gerald Everett at 18 kind of depends on what happens with Tyler Lockett. Albert, are you okay? Coming in at 19. And Ricky Seals Jones coming in at number 20 for me.
I mean, Kyle, we just went through 120 names as quick as we possibly could to make sure that the information was out there. But like we said, there's so much that's still going to change. Make sure you stay up to date with everything. Literally everything can change within the span of a couple hours. Now, obviously, because of this short week, this coming out here Thursday, Friday is Christmas Eve, Saturday is Christmas. We're not going to be live streaming Friday night. We're going to be with our families. We're not going to be live streaming on Saturday because it's Christmas and we're with our families and we don't want to end up divorced and being bad fathers and all. So all we're going to be doing here this week is Kyle will still be there Sunday morning for the live stream right around 11:30 a.m.
I might go earlier. I didn't even tell Jake this before we recorded.
Well,
I'm going
news
to
to me.
make it a longer show since we won't be live Saturday night to make sure I'm there for everybody Sunday morning.
Okay, so an earlier stream. Now, here's the deal. It's going to show up as a members-only stream, but it's a members-only in the comment section. You are still free to watch that show and see all the information that's coming out, so make sure you tune in for that. But outside of that, Kyle, I just want to make sure we wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much for supporting us here through this great year, but don't forget, just because the year is ending doesn't mean the content stops. We'll be here all year long. We don't stop. We go 12 months, a year. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. No need to unsubscribe and leave till next fantasy football season. Just stick around and get all the great, information for the next couple months, because that's where you actually pick up those nuggets that lead to victories.
And those little tidbits.
Yeah.
That's delicious information.
Yeah, that's exactly where you find those at, is in the off
I want to
season.
wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
I mean, I want to laugh at it, but if I laugh, it just encourages you to do it more.
It doesn't matter what you do. I'll still do it more.
That's right. Anyway, before he does it again, hey, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Like I said, a great Christmas. Enjoy the time here this week and good luck in the fantasy playoffs. And we will look forward to talking to you guys next week, week 17 of the fantasy football season. Have a good one. Thanks.